This is the PTZOptics 12x-USB Gen2 video camera. In this video, I'm going to tell you if this really pricey camera is worth it or not. Don't look at me that way. Let's get into it. Since the start of the pandemic, I've had the opportunity to participate and do the production of a number of online events, such as church events and Zoom weddings, where I've had to bring in the wedding into Zoom so that people can attend virtually from all over the world. My name is Patrick, and this is Everyday Tech for everyday people. And in this video, I'm going to talk about PTZ cameras. PTZ stands for Pan, Tilt, Zoom. Now, this camera itself is an older model, lower end model, but even though it is older and a lower end model, this still retails for about $1,700. Now, full disclosure, I bought this with my own money off eBay for over a third of the price as well. Now, recently, there have been a number of cameras that have come out from some unknown companies with very similar specs or even clones of these PTZOptics cameras. Now, what you're getting with the PTZOptics cameras are reliable cameras with good customer support from a reliable company. Now, with that said, hopefully in the near future, I can get my hands on some of those other cameras because those can be up to a third of the price of these cameras as well. Now, typically these cameras are used for things like houses of worship because you can really put this in places high up where it's really out of the way and can be operated by one person. That one person can operate a number of PTZ cameras, so it's like a one-man show. Also, these are used for conference rooms as well. Again, I've used this for some Zoom weddings, some church meetings as well. But I've used it for other stuff, even for some videos and some B-roll shots on this channel as well. And in some of my live streams, I've used it in the past as a secondary camera where I can set a number of zones, and I'll show you that in a moment with this camera as well. Now, this is a lower end model camera. It has a 12x zoom. There are ones with 20x, 30x zooms, which really means you can get really close to a subject or really put this far back in the room and get it out of the way. This has an HDMI out, but there are models with SDI as well. And then it has an Ethernet jack, so I can control this camera via the network, or I can get the video out of this camera via the network as well using RTSP. Now, RTSP is a very old protocol, but there are cameras that do support NDI as well. And of course, this one has a USB jack, so I can bring this into my computer just as a regular webcam as well. As far as video quality is concerned, this is a step up from your typical camcorder or your regular video camera. It's not as good as a mirrorless camera here with a bigger sensor and a dedicated lens, but for the scenarios that this camera is going to be put in with a 12x, 20x, or 30x zoom, you really can't beat the quality that you're going to get with this type of camera. Now, it's all based on the type of event or scenario that you're going to put it in. So now we're filming on the PTZ camera here, and it's a pretty wide shot for this 12x zoom camera. Now, if you get a 20x or a 30x zoom camera, it's not going to be as wide, but of course you have the flexibility of panning back and forth. If I wanted to make this shot, the framing of this shot a little bit tighter, I can kind of zoom in a little bit more. Now, to demonstrate the 12x zoom on this camera, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and focus on my Blue Yeti microphone back here. So let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see, we can get in really tight there, and you can imagine what a 20x or a 30x zoom camera will do. You can get even tighter on a shot, or you can put these cameras way in the back and still get the right framing that you want as well. So one of the cool things you can do with the PTZ camera is pre-program certain positions into presets, and you can do that on your remote control or on the software on your computer. But what that means is with the press of a button, I can put the camera into certain positions. So let's say I'm doing a behind the scenes look of my setup here, and I've done this in some of my past live streams. But here's a wide shot of or behind the scenes, and a little bit of a wider shot of my setup here. But let's say I want to show you my mirrorless camera here, and you might see the camera move here, but now I have a very close-up of my mirrorless camera here. But let's say I want to show you my Elgato key light here, and I've already pressed the button, and it's already moved into position. So here's my Elgato key light. Let's say, what drink am I drinking tonight? Well, I have a close-up of my soda can, apple soda here on my desk here. So this is one way to kind of mimic 4 cameras with 4 different angles, but really it's just one camera moving into different shots. Now, the reason why I keep on switching back and forth to this angle is I can I give the camera a chance to move to different positions. Now, if you show the camera moving to your audience, it's going to be not a great experience because it's going to be pretty jerky as far as that's concerned. Now, that wasn't too bad, but once you start to move to different positions and it starts to do different things, it's not going to be a very great experience for the user. See how jerky that is? So you want to be careful of how you use these presets, but I've been able to use these presets for other uses, and so I'm going to show you that right now. So one of the ways I've used presets is with some of my B-roll shots. What I've done is I've done a beginning position as one preset and an end position as another preset. I've turned the panning speed all the way down and just do a slow pan. So let me give you a demonstration here. Let's go back to this behind the scenes look. Now I've already had it pan to the left or a little bit more, but I've set another position to way to the right. So now if I hit position 2, now you can see a slow panning. So you can kind of imagine how a product would look right here as I'm slowly panning through it. So that's kind of a cool way to use a preset. And this is kind of a cool look as far as a behind the scenes look, even for my live streams as well. Now, would I recommend getting a PTZ camera? For personal use, definitely not. Even though I've been using it for some of my B-roll shots, as you can tell, it just can't match the quality of my mirrorless camera here. When I was switching back and forth, you could tell the quality of the mirrorless camera was superior. But for live events and for live streaming, this, depending on the venue, of course, as well, I would definitely consider getting one of these. Consider getting multiple one of these. You can put these cameras in certain positions that you can normally can't with a regular camera and control them from a safe distance as well. Especially in this day of the pandemic, that's pretty valuable as well. Now, if you definitely have to have the budget for these, but this is something you should really consider for your live events. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I hope to get my hands on some cheaper options as far as PTZ cameras are concerned. If I do, you'll definitely see it on this channel. If you like this video, give it a like. Consider subscribing. Until the next one, see ya.